Okay. Well, again, I've served on the board for 2 terms. I think I've represented the community very well. I think I've got the students' interests through my decision-making process. I've looked at the students. I looked at what's best for the community and how we can bring a valued education to this community. I've been in the business world for 20 years here in Findlay. I have pretty good connections. I've been able to help bring business leaders into the school districts when we need to through the Business Advisory Committee. I've been able to go out and solicit their help and get their opinion as well. And also, probably one of the most difficult things to do, but also rewarding thing to do, is you got to be able to work with 5 different board members with 5 different opinions, and you need to do that with an open mind. We need to bring that process together so we can make one unified decision. And for the most part, over the 8 years, we've been able to do that as a board collectively. So I'm very proud of that.
Again, as I said in my introduction, education is just really important in our family. It might sound cliche, but if you think of it, it's truly the answer to everything. I mean, better education is the answer to overcoming poverty, to peace in the world, everything. So I got very excited when I went back to graduate school to get my degree in education, and most of the people I were in with were teachers, and I jump up and down and go, "Did you see what they're doing? It's like collaborative learning." And and so I think it's a really exciting field. I work in healthcare now, and in the past, I'd say 5 to 10 years, healthcare continually measures everything. And I was a bit cynical when I first went into that field to think, this doesn't work, measuring, numbers, statistics. It works. And, setting benchmarks, measuring, keeping on track, doing your action steps actually does work. So I'm excited to bring some knowledge of that to the school board and thinking out of the box a little bit, having a good time. So, thanks. Al?
Well, I'm probably a little bit different than the rest of them. I'm a question person. I want to know why we're doing something. I want to know, can we afford it? I want to know, do we have the personnel to do it? Are we making a change just to make a change? The same thing with buildings. You're sitting in a building right now. When I moved here to town, believe it or not, we were only in town a week, and the superintendent said it might be a good idea to have you on our building committee, Al. And I said, why? He said, well, you're one of the few that's been around in different schools and been around the places where they are building. And so I was on the committee. I didn't last very long. When they finally finished it up, they decided they didn't need Hal Paul because Hal Paul's ideas were different than everybody else's. Unfortunately or fortunately, as it might be, depends on who it is. If it's me, it was fortunate because some of the things that I thought we ought not to do and went ahead and did, we found out 2 or 3 years later that we probably shouldn't have done. And we had to make some changes. And I could go on and on about that, but I'm not going to. I guess my whole thing is one thing. I was in education long enough and far enough back that when I look out in the room and I see some of these people, I wonder how they accomplish anything today because they went to school and we didn't have all these special programs. And yet they're the leaders in the community today. They're the people that are hiring the people that we graduate through Findlay. And my feeling is that when they talk about this, it's just not about leaving anyone behind. In my mind, it's about keeping everyone on board. I went to a board meeting one night and I heard somebody say, well, yes, we have lost a lot of enrollment in Findlay. And somebody says, well, where'd it go? And somebody said, I don't know. That bothered me a lot. And it always has bothered me. Because when my sons were in school, the population in this high school alone was twice what it is now. What happened to it? Where did it go? Why isn't it here today? I don't know. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm hoping that if I get on the board, I'll be in the inside looking at it. Because I think it's important. I think it's important to the young people, and I think it's important to this town. Thank you.
I thought about this question quite a bit, and I think it started way back when I was a little girl, and my dad said one night he was going to the school board meeting, and I thought, I wondered what a school board is, and I thought it was a piece of lumber. Eventually I learned that it was not really a board, but it was a group of people, and I remember a picture of my dad being in that high school yearbook. This was in Bloomdale, Ohio. I forgot to say I lived right there too. And so when this opportunity came along and they were wanting to appoint somebody, I put my name in the hat because I thought the main reason that I want to be on the school board is because I'm an advocate of kids. I cheer for a lot of professional sports teams and college teams and school teams, but if there's a team that I would cheer the loudest for, it's for the team of kids. I've worked with them from the age of 5 up through 65. And I've come to understand that children are in a developmental process, and our wonderful teachers have to teach that process while they're teaching the subject matter they're teaching. It's a very complicated thing to do. And I still meet with children from Findlay City Schools. My kids graduated. I have a granddaughter at Findlay High School freshman year. And I believe that all of us adults need to make big differences for kids. And I thought maybe this is one way, from a different perspective, I could try to make another difference for kids. So that's why I'm here.
What I'm about to say is going to sound hokey, and I thought it was hokey when I was a child, and I heard people say it. Community service. I believe that we all need to give back. And now that I'm a little older, I think I understand what people mean by giving back through community service. I did an assessment. I thought, given my skill set, how could I best leverage that into community service? And I believe the school board is it. One reason, and just a quick anecdote. My father and I, who's here tonight, we teach a class called Advanced School Finance down at Buckeye Association of School Administrators. And one thing we impress upon every superintendent and every treasurer is how important, and you've heard Hal and I think Barb said it, how important the school is to the community. And the antidote is this. There was a small community was trying to lure some Japanese business into town, big manufacturing plant. The businessmen came to town, they got the obligatory wine and dine, and then they got in the car and they say, all right, what do you want to see first? And they said, take us to the high school. They drove by the high school, and as some of them started to get out, the Japanese businessmen said, we've seen enough, take us back to the hotel. They drove them back to the hotel, they got on the airport the next day, or airplane next day, they never heard from them again. And while this is just a single anecdote, it illustrates how important the school is to the community, because those are the people that are going to replace us. And we like to think of ourselves as educated, professional people, then we owe it to the next generation to bring them up, and hopefully a little further than we are today. So, thank you.
Okay, let's move down to the question that deals with facilities. Do you believe the current facilities are adequate? And what would you like to see in the next 5 years in regard to facilities?